If you're wondering why it's taken some people so long to speak up about the genocide, one big reason is that humans just have a hard time comprehending large numbers, and that's definitely being weaponized against us. No, that's a real thing. Our brains were literally not evolved to handle really huge numbers like we see everywhere today. And it leads to what's called scope insensitivity, a cognitive bias where our emotional responses are not proportional to the size of a problem. That's why it's so hard for many of us to understand the scale of the climate crisis, the tragedy in Palestine, or the wealth that billionaires are stealing from us. When it comes to things like genocide, scope insensitivity causes psychic numbing, which is a term coined by the psychologist Paul Slovich to describe how as the number of victims of a tragedy increases, collective empathy actually decreases. And right now we're seeing psychic numbing on a mass scale, and it's why so many people have been able to stay silent for 2 years. Because when death and destruction is reduced to stats and figures, it stops feeling real and becomes a lot easier to ignore. I can tell you that Israel has killed over 250 times more Palestinians than Israelis that have died on October 7th, but that doesn't really mean much to most people unless you actually see the difference with your own eyes. And psychic numbing is definitely weaponized against us. Our mainstream media selectively uses statistics and emotive language to control our emotional responses. That's why Palestinian deaths are often reported as cold numbers in the West, while Israeli deaths get heartfelt biopics. The lesson here is that if we want more people to care about the issues that we care about, we need to do the work to make the numbers and statistics feel more real and personal in our organizing. In his research, Slovich found that images and stories were way more likely to produce empathetic responses than statistics alone. That means focusing on personal stories to humanize issues, and using creative ways to visualize statistics, like how I used rice to visualize Gaza's death toll, or how the city controller in Los Angeles used billboards to visualize wasteful city spending. If we do that, then we can start to make these issues start to feel personal. And that's critical because once something feels personal, then doing something about it becomes obvious. For more guidance on how to get more creative with your organizing, check out The Conscious Citizens, where we have guides on that and a lot more. And if you want to read more about this kind of stuff, check out the latest issue of The Dispatch. You can get access to all of that for free by signing up at the link in our bio, and you can help us keep all of this free by supporting our work for as little as $2 a month.